Okay, this is something that can get confusing. Sometimes we use an adjective clause to modify not just a noun or a noun clause, but a whole situation. And here are some examples from Unit 11 where this happens. Okay, in exercise 1C, number 10, page 188, you see, however, Gary takes his comments personally, which classifies him as a feeler. And in boldface, you see the adjective clause, which classifies him as a feeler. And that's modifying or explaining more about a whole situation. Gary takes his comments personally. I have 3 sisters and 2 brothers, which made things pretty crowded when we were growing up. That's exercise 2, number 2 on page 188. And here I've got this whole situation. I have 3 sisters and 2 brothers. And then I have an adjective clause that's modifying that situation. Elaine Correa has only been with us for a year, but is definitely ready for promotion. There's a whole situation and then a whole long adjective clause modifying or explaining more about that situation, which is not surprising given the excellent recommendations from the business where she worked before. And in the same exercise, this is also in exercise 3, Alice Anderdoff is not performing up to expectations. There's a situation, a fact, and then I have an adjective clause which bothers me because I was the one who recruited her, and that adjective clause is modifying the fact and not expectations. I don't think he's a murderer, which is why I feel comfortable defending him. This is exercise 5, number 1 on page 191. And I have this fact, I don't think he's a murderer, or situation, I don't think he's a murderer. And then the adjective clause is not modifying murderer, but the whole situation that I don't think he's a murderer, and explaining why I don't. When he was in prison, he was a person the psychiatrists considered well-balanced and even-tempered. And there again, a whole long situation, and then another adjective clause explaining more about that situation, explaining the reason, which is the reason why I don't think he's guilty. Okay, let me just go back, and you'll notice as I go backwards through this, all of these have commas. Every time I do this, it ends up to be a non-identifying adjective clause. And that's something that seems to be always true when you're using an adjective clause to modify a situation.